is it really choice? Welcome to Tools to Create a Better Life with myself, Glenyce Hughes. Thank you so much for being here. I am so incredibly grateful for each and every one of you. We are currently in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It's beautiful here, guys. And by beautiful, I mean like beautiful, but also hot. It's October 1st today, and it's going to be 31 degrees Celsius. Now, I have no idea what that is in Fahrenheit, but let me tell you, it's hot and it's muggy. Humidity, holy. Anyway, we are spending a week and a bit with a cute little kitty named Robot. She may make herself known as she passes by. She's very loud. She is what we might call a senior kitty, and her meowing is very similar to a kitty that we had years and years ago as he got older. So you may hear her. All right, so is choice the thing? Is it really what is stopping you from having and being and doing and creating everything you desire? Yes and no. So last week's radio show, I talked about what I know for sure for myself in terms of just a different way of seeing things now, being aware of things now. This is another one of those topics. I've talked a lot about choice over the years, and I want to talk about it in a much different way, because there's a term, and I actually talked about it on a radio show a number of probably months ago now, I don't recall, oversimplification. And this is something that I would say that I've done with the content that I've put out there, especially around choice. It's very easy for me to say as a white woman that I have the choice to live as we do, that I can choose this lifestyle. So we're basically, traveling around right now, the US, it will be the world, in time to come. Right now it's through the US, and pet and house sitting. And that's a relatively easy choice for me. But when we talk about choice, and choice being the thing that we need to once we choose it, we'll create it, or we'll have it, or we'll be it, that's very oversimplified, because there's a lot of people who don't actually have the same choices that I do. So when I talk about it as though it's just a choice, that is very unkind and cruel and mean if we're looking at it from a broader view. Now, I say that, and I also want to say no one is a victim. So I'm not saying that I have choice because I'm a white woman, and if you're not a white woman, you don't. That's not what I'm saying, okay? Please know this. Really just want to give a deeper energetic connection to this, because I know from the clients I work with, from my own experience, from different things that I've seen around the world, when we see something as, well, it's just a choice and I don't have it, so I didn't choose it, so I'm wrong, please stop doing that to yourself. There's so many other factors. Now, a great question, a question that I love to ask myself is, what could I choose to actualize this, or to manifest this, or to have this, or to be this, or to do this? Absolutely. I love that question, because it can give you more awareness. But to generally say that every person on the planet could choose what I'm choosing, or what you're choosing, or what we see, say social media influencers are choosing, that's not enough information. And what that does is creates this separation. It creates this, well, I'm choosing it and it's not showing up, so I must be wrong. And if we truly desire, I truly desire, let me rephrase that. I truly desire to live on a planet where nobody plays with wrongness. Nobody distracts themselves with wrongness. Everyone is valued for who they are and what they bring to the table, and those differences are celebrated, and nobody is wrong, and nobody is wrong in what they're choosing or what they're experiencing. That's really what I desire to create more on the planet. So when I say, oh, it's just a choice, that actually doesn't create what I say I would like to see on the planet. So what you might want to look at, if this resonates with you at all, and chances are if you're still here, there's something for you, is that start looking at that for yourself, and not having this general idea that that it's just choice that's missing. Because there's a lot of things. There's so many factors. There's a lot of horrificness going on the planet. And to say to those people that it's just a choice, no, absolutely not. So what if we start taking some depth to that? And how can you apply this? This is where you look at, okay, every time you say to yourself, oh, well, that was just a choice. Why am I not choosing it? How come I chose wrong? Stop that. You could ask, okay, what's really going on? What's really going on here? Using some of the things that we hear about on the planet, there are, men and women in similar roles, and women are getting paid less. So to say to yourself, oh, well, I'm just not choosing to be paid more, that's not fair. That's not true. Yeah, it's hard to put to words, but you get the idea of that. It's like looking, okay, so what is really going on here? Wow, okay, there's sexism here. Okay, so what's required to change that? So we take it deeper. Again, we're not going into victim. We're not saying, well, I'm a woman and that's just the way it is. Or all the ways that men are sexism. I don't know how to say that. All the ways that men are treated poorly because they're men, or women because they're women, or races because of the race they are, or all the things. Like, let's go deeper than that. Let's look at it. Let's acknowledge what is. And then let's get into question. Okay, well, what is it going to take to change that? Now, let's say that was you. Let's say you're in a position and you're getting paid less than somebody else doing similar, and you're aware that it is sexism in this case. Then, okay, so what's required? That might be multiple things. It might be talking to a lawyer. It might be talking to HR in the company. It might be a bazillion things. So that's where we want to look at that. So those are still choices. So when I said earlier, it's yes and no, choice, yes and no, those are still choices. So we can say absolutely choice. And we don't want to do the generalization of choice, because that's where it gets so unkind to ourselves. And even when we say stuff like, well, why am I not choosing it? What's wrong with me that I'm not choosing it? I also have this other awareness, and again, this is for me, this is my awareness, you do with it what you would like, that the universe, which includes me, always has my back. So if I'm asking for something and I am making the choices towards it and it's not showing up, I know there's something else there. I maybe don't know what it is, but I know. I'll give you an example, and this is such a silly example compared to what I'm talking about. We were on our way to Minneapolis from my family, my parents' home in Turtleford, Saskatchewan, and we had big plans. Had really big plans, and our car actually needed a part. As we were driving, I got an engine light. I have driven, well, this car is fairly new. It's a year old, never had a problem. And the 3 Audis before that, I have never had a light come. There's never been anything other than the regular services that they go to, but nothing. So we ended up in Regina, Saskatchewan for 2 nights. We were going to spend 10 minutes. We ended up there 2 nights waiting for this part. So I know that I could look at that and I could say, okay, well, what did I choose and what's wrong with me? And I, kind of go down the rabbit hole of, is this a sign? And I did that a little bit, I'll be honest. I was like, what's happening? Because there'd been multiple other delays. So this was just really interesting. Anyway, yeah, I know that the universe always has my back. So for whatever we required to be in Regina for, or not on the road when we would have been on the, whatever it was, I know that. So I don't need to go down that rabbit hole of what did I choose wrong? What's my points of views? I don't have to do any of that. I can just be present in the moment of, this is what is. And we looked at other options. We looked at what else we could choose. We looked at renting a car one way and getting here, and then hubby coming with waiting in Regina. We looked at flights. We looked at all the things, and none of them were it. What was it was just to stay in Regina, Saskatchewan for 2 nights while the car got fixed. And if you saw my Facebook post, eat sourdough donuts. If you haven't done that, do that. thank me later. So just like, I just want to give you an example of that. So if we go again beyond the choosing of it, if you know you are choosing towards it and you're taking the action and you're acknowledging what is, so we're not using the generalization of it's just a choice and you're wrong if you don't have it, then also look at if it's still not showing up. Okay, so is this a gift? Is it actually a gift to not show up? I know we don't often like to think about it like that. And sometimes I wonder, now, I also say that, but I don't want to go into the place of bypassing. And this is a term that's kind of hot right now, spiritual bypassing, where we just go, oh, well, you know what, this is better. There's something good in this. I was still frustrated. Believe me, I was still frustrated. I still voiced it. I still allowed myself to experience it. Days later, it's a lot easier for me to talk to. There's actually people in Regina that I would have reached out to just to hang out with. But honestly, I just wasn't in that space. So I allowed myself to be in that space, but also knowing that the universe has my back. So there's this dance and this whole other piece to me of looking at choice, a much deeper version. So when you're tempted to go into the wrongness of you, of choices or not choosing or all the things of, well, it's just a choice, take it deeper. Be kind to yourself. Look at it through the space of, what if there's more? If we didn't oversimplify choice, what if there's more? And that might be more choices. Like I say, with that, using the example of sexism. Okay, so let's be honest with what is. Okay, this is what's going on. All right, so then we go and what are those choices then if that's what's going on, rather than going into, I'm wrong, I'm bad, I'm not choosing it. Yeah. So, as I said on last week's show, this is kind of a series without being a series of all the different things all the things I'm looking at differently, all the things that I know to be true for me. So, if that invites you to something greater, if that invites you to look at what's true for you more, I am so grateful. Sessions are still on sale, sweet friends. Link is above or below. If you don't see a link, reach out and I will get it for you. Have a great rest of your week. I look forward to chatting again next week.